What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to have a talk about Dying Light 2. I want to talk about if we should be super worried about this game. Now, let me just start it off by saying this. Whenever I make a video such as this, I get a lot of people saying that I'm nothing but negative, I worry too much, things like that, okay? What I want to make very clear is that I'm very excited for Dying Light 2. I hope my track record from the videos I've made previously can kind of speak for themselves. I'm very high on this game. I'm not down in the dumps. I'm not saying this game is going to be garbage. I want this game. I want this game day one, okay? So I just want to make that clear. I've made a lot of positive videos on Dying Light 2. I remain very optimistic. It's just for this video, I kind of want to give, the mindset. I kind of want to go over and say, what should we be actually worried about, okay? So I do just want to make that very clear in the opening remarks, okay? I'm sure I'm still going to get it, but I just wanted to come out and say that. Look, this game has not had the greatest path to right now. I would, you could say release, but the game hasn't released yet. So it has not had the greatest path up until now. Now, I have said in the past that the rumors of the just kind of catastrophicness that's going on in Techland, I've said that I don't necessarily believe them. The thing is, and I've said this before too, the longer that it goes on, the more worried I do become. I mean, just factually, and I have to be honest with myself. I have to be honest with you guys. I mean, I'm still super pumped. That gameplay that we saw back in 2018, that E3, I still love it. I really, I mean, you guys see it like every time. I love it, okay? But the longer we go where we don't see anything else and all these other things happen, the more concerned I do get with this game. Now, there has been positives. There's been, those the promotion where if you buy like a certain amount of money of like the computer accessories and all that stuff, you'll get a code for Dying Light 2, which is odd to promise a code like that when, the game isn't even have a release date. There's a PS5 event probably happening within the next week and a half. There's going to be an Xbox event. We know Dying Light 2 and Xbox or Microsoft, like they have a connection. I mean, there's definitely more opportunities for Dying Light 2 to be shown. And honestly, when these events happen, I'm probably going to make videos on them, okay? Because they absolutely have a very good shot. And in fact, I think that now that we're past Gamescom, unless you wait for the Game Awards or unless you just do it on your own, which they absolutely could do, if they're looking for an event to kind of partner their game with and say, okay, we're back out there, we want to show you guys gameplay, I think those could be those. Those could actually, happen, okay? So we'll talk about that in future videos. But the rumor of the Techland being a disaster, I don't necessarily believe, but at this point, with it being so long, you got to start to wonder if things have actually happened. There was also some, let's say accusations, I don't want to go into specifics, right, of Chris Avellone, who's the game's lead writer, right? So that was a little while ago, but I mean, that's a pretty big deal. Now, I'm not going to talk about specifics. I'm not going to talk about where I stand on all that kind of stuff, but those things can definitely affect it. You look at even like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, everybody there is being taken out by all of these accusations, right? And again, whether you agree with them, you disagree, you think that it's a positive, I mean, it doesn't matter where you stand. Like these people leaving these projects, are they going to use all of their work? We know that there's some times where they'll say, okay, we're not going to use anything, even like Vampire Masquerades 2, right? That one was said, like, well, they're not going to use the writer's dialogue that they had written, right? But like it happened 2 times in a row. So it's like, what, you're just not going to use any dialogue whatsoever? Like you have to start from scratch again? So again, like something like that. So if they're going to say, okay, well, he wrote 50% of the game and we're not going to use any of it because we just don't think it would be right. Well, now you have lost 50% of your writing. So now you have to kind of restart, which means you have to do all the recordings again. You have to do some of the animations, all that kind of stuff. So like these things start to add up. I mean, there's just really no way around it. I think that what they've done with Dying Light, and I've always said this, has been spectacular. I mean, you really, when you look at a game and you say, okay, all these games that are promising that we're going to support this game for months, for years, whether it be you're going to have to pay for it or we're going to just provide free updates or this is going to be a game as a service, whatever the case is. There's good examples and there's bad examples. We're right in the middle of Marvel's Avengers, which is to be decided, okay? But with Dying Light, I think they did it probably, if not the best, top like 10% of how you could do it. Really. I mean, they've supported that game for longer than anybody should probably support any game for, and they've legitimately helped it. I mean, people are still playing that game. They're adding quality content. So, like, at its core, Techland, I feel like, is a very, very strong company. I think they know what they have to do. I think with, again, what we've seen with Dying Light 2, I'm happy with it. I really am. I want to see more than just 18 or 20 minutes, or however long that thing was. I think we need to see quite a bit more. I think it needs to kind of come back out into the spotlight and say, okay, we're ready. And again, there's so many positives. We've heard internally that they basically have an entire team working on how to do the release date, like when to set the release date, how to announce it, how to go about that. They have literally a group of people figuring that out. So again, there's a lot of positives there. It's just that I wonder when this all kind of happens. Is the game, can we like notice if the game has been impacted? Like when we re-see it again, is it like massively changed where, I mean, it could be a good thing or a bad thing, right? I mean, it could come back out and we're like, holy God, like this is so much better than even 2 years ago, which again, to me, I really liked it. Some people didn't, and that's fine. Because then again, they come out maybe right now, right? They show something new and then we're all like, oh my God, look at the steps they took. Or do they come out and it's kind of like very, very different and we're like, ooh, we didn't think you would go in that direction, or the game comes out and it's like, yeah, I don't really know why this took so long, or this is a little messy, or that's a little messy. I mean, we go about it when it happens, honestly. I think that really, the more I talk about it, the more that I do want to recognize that there's definitely issues, but I feel like the optimistic side of me really has shut it down right throughout this entire video. I think to kind of sum it up, okay, to wrap it up, there are definitely issues. I do not think the making of this game has been perfect at all. I think with these accusations, with people leaving, with the game taking so long, with the game being 2018, seeing it, and then it should have come out already. I forgot to mention all that, right? All of these delays, indefinite delays. Again, delays are fine, but when you do an indefinite delay, that does cause some concern. Even with me, that causes some concern. Remember, the game was supposed to come out in like 2019. Then it was supposed to come out in 2020. Now here we are. There's no way I think it's coming out in 2020, unless bearing a miracle, which is possible, definitely possible. But I think just the way that the world is obviously handling itself right now, right? I think that would maybe just be best. Have it come out January, February, March, somewhere in that early 2021 period. I think that makes sense. That's fine. Gives them plenty of time to fix anything they need to fix. And with that being said, they can also still announce it, by the way, like now. Because I guess, because again, you're not announcing it like for the first time. You're kind of bringing it back out there, okay? So I think there are worries. I think that you really can't just shake off this kind of stuff. That rumor of pure disaster in the studio, that has been shot down by even them. But again, with all this other stuff, you do kind of have to wonder if maybe some of that at least was true, that they've maybe been having a really, really hard time. But at the same time, again, lots of positives. What we have so far, I think, is really good. I think that, they're a very good company. They have a very good track record with Dying Light. We know that a release date is coming relatively soon. Just kind of have to keep our eyes on the prize, which this video kind of also serves as that too, right? Even the Gamescom video where I made of Dying Light, one of the main things I saw were a lot of people just having given up and saying, like, you know what, like, I'm just done with this game, or they're taking too long, or, this or that. I get it. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, or you have no right to do that. You have every single right to do whatever you want, honestly, to think whatever you want, to give up on this game if you want to. All I'm saying is I feel like we're kind of right at the end where this is a difficult time, because like I think this is kind of the peak of everybody having given up on this game, and then within maybe a couple months when they finally bring it back out, that's when we're all going to kind of be rewarded for waiting so long, if you know what I mean. Okay, so I think basically a phrase I like to use, the light is at the end of the tunnel, right? We're approaching the light at the end of the tunnel. I really do think that's the case with a game like this. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Are you worried about Dying Light 2? Do you think it's in major trouble? Are you still very optimistic, very you're on your path, like kind of like I am, right? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And like I said, if we get a PS5 reveal announcement, we can talk about if the game would be there. A Microsoft thing, I do think it's honestly very possible. I don't know if it's very likely, but I think it's very possible that something like that could happen. I think that honestly, there's a lot of opportunity there with both of these, especially probably pushing the next-gen aspect of Dying Light 2, okay? So I'll make those videos if that kind of stuff happens, and I hope to see you guys there.